Why is the sexual attitude reassessment important, and how can it matter to you? I'm here with Bianca Laureano. Did I say that right?
Yes.
And I'm Kathy Martilli from the intimacydojo.com, and BiancaLaureano.com is your website. And you'll be presenting the SAR, Sexual Attitude Reassessment, at Woodhull Sexual Freedom Summit in just over a month. Why is it important? What does it actually do?
So a SAR, which is the acronym for Sexual Attitude Reassessment, is a training that's been really important for the field of sex educators, counselors, and therapists. It's very much what people consider an essential part of our certification, as well as our learning and unlearning process. So a SAR can really do a variety of different things. Usually I like to tell people that it's supposed to help us understand what our limits are, as well as what boundaries we want to create with other people in our life, whether they be interpersonal or professional, and also so that we can be stronger, better educators, providers, healers with the communities that we're working with. So if we have someone who we're providing care for who tells us about a sexual activity or behavior or experience that they've had, and that's one of our limits, we're able to then say, listen, that's a really important topic. I have a great referral list of people who could probably really help you if you're interested, right? So that way we don't have to shame someone or make them feel like they don't have access to resources that can really nurture that part of their experience and their healing process and their care for themselves. So it really is not just something that's for people in the sexuality field, but it's really something that all of us need this kind of training and workshop for. So my hope is that knowing what SARs look like in our field, I didn't have the best SAR experience. It was pretty one-dimensional. The bodies that were represented were all the same. It was very color-free. There were no disabled bodies, no bodies of color. It was just a very traditional SAR. It was about a decade ago. And I like to think that the SAR that we've created is something that is a lot more on the vanguard of the work that we're actually doing.
Well, if you and Ida, who are, that's very vanguard. Yeah, and I hate feeling like I feel invisible. I'm a bigger person, and almost all sex ed, videos and demos, whatever, they're like size 2, super, yogini models, whatever, and I'm just like, well, great. My brain already knew those people could have sex.
Right, exactly.
I want to see that I get to have that kind of experience too.
Exactly, right? It's like the affirmation that comes with the representation. So I call it a POC, like a people of color centered SAR, because it centers the bodies of people of color in the variety of ranges that they come in. And that, unfortunately, is a really revolutionary approach to SARs, because a lot of the media that we have available to us within our field does not represent us, just like it doesn't represent larger bodies or disabled bodies or trans bodies in a similar way. So that representation is really important. So what we've been able to do is gather media that does come from a sexuality field focus, but also media that we're constantly interacting with, like common and popular films, television shows, memes. The internet has just revolutionized SARs, really. And have the SAR become something that's so accessible to us that we recognize that it's useful in our daily lives.
Why did you decide that you wanted to teach it at Woodhull? What is it about Woodhull that drew you?
Yeah, so I grew up in the DMV area, which is DC, Metro Virginia, DC, Maryland, Virginia, for those of you who don't know. We call it the DMV. So there's that part, right? It's my hometown, more or less. I grew up there. But also Woodhull is one of the few conferences that actually has the word freedom in their vision and in the work that they want to do. And I've just witnessed the work that Mandy and that Ricky have done at other conferences that I've attended, from scientific things like Quad S to all sorts of things like Sister Song. And the fact that they're collaborating with Sister Song this year is really meaningful for me as well. I think it's a really vital time for public policy. And Sister Song has been at the forefront of policy for a reproductive justice framework that they've been implementing and supporting and moving forward. So I think that's vital. And because, I'm one of the 3 foundresses of WACSHN, which is the Women of Color Sexual Health Network.
It's such a beautiful resource.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, and for people who don't know, use our acronym WOCSHN.org. And this is something that's for POC only, where it's a membership organization. But anybody can go to our website, read what we are doing, hire one of the educators.
It's a great place to find really brilliant people. If your community isn't networked to POC people, go get networked.
Exactly, and it's tons of people who are probably living in your city or in your town that you might not be able to find on a larger network database, because to be quite honest, some of those membership databases are a little too expensive to be a member of every year. Anyways, but as a foundress of Waction, when racial justice became the thing that people were realizing they really had to invest in to really create a different kind of structural experience, well, not structural experience, but structural implementation of what their vision is, so that participants at their conference had a different experience. Woodhull and Ricky were the first people who came up with this idea of we need to collaborate with other people of communities in which we want more representation from at our conferences. And look, it's an idea, and it's going to be a challenge. Racial justice work is lifelong work. There isn't one right solution to any problem. There's multiple paths to the same outcome of liberation and of justice, I believe. And so when they decided to implement that protocol, which they've done, this will be their third year, I believe, they came to Waction first.
Nice.
And they treated us as their peers. Not, we weren't treated as they didn't pat us on the head. We were really treated and honored and welcomed, and it was great. And I love to think that the relationship that we were able to build with leadership there and the powers that be were one that was rooted in respect and in trust and in honesty. And it just felt like a natural connection for me to reach out to Mandy and Ricky and see if they were interested in collaborating. They never do pre-cons, so I was taking a risk on hearing a no, because that's the thing, it means more work, it means more money. And I think it's really important for people to know that they said yes, and they wanted to hear a little bit more, and when I spelled it out a little bit more for them, they were like, heck yeah, let's do it.
Thank you so much for your generosity and for taking the time to share with us today. It sounds like an amazing program. Thank you for putting that together. And if people have questions or comments, please reach out to Bianca. I'll put the information below. But you can also, if you have just general questions, please leave them below, and I'll see if Bianca might come back sometime and answer them. So thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Kathy, for setting this up. I really appreciate you and all your work.
Thank you.
I hope to see you at Woodhull soon.
I will, very soon.
Great. Awesome. I'll see you then. Bye.